In this first clip, my viewer is about to join the A38 northbound towards Mansfield. And this particular section, which is just north of Derby, is a fast-moving carriageway with plenty of slit roads both on and off the main carriageway. And this is where our problem occurs.
Percy staggered away, completely exhausted. Ha! Said the editor.
It seems as though my viewer has had to wring his car out a little bit to get performance to pass that lorry, and this becomes pivotal now.
Except for a few fires burning and a few retreating monsters screaming in panic. A ragged circle of Romans and Amazons stood around Percy. Tyson, Ella, and Mrs. O'Leary were there. Frank and Hazel.
When my viewer emerged, they were keeping, as you should do, good space from the lorry in front. But when you're trying to do a lane change further to the right, you can't wait until the space is there for you to start to accelerate. And I feel as though that's what happened, and that's why the white van came past. Let's have another look at that for a second. Watch and listen this time, even though my camera was signalling how they don't change their speed to try and take the space.
The battlefield was silent, except for a few fires burning and a few retreating monsters screaming in panic. A ragged circle of Romans and Amazons stood around Percy. Tyson, Ella, and Mrs. O'Leary were there. Frank and Hazel.
For me, that space was never there to be taken anyway. I would have held back, gave myself some acceleration room, and now I would have tried to go before the lorry. But because my viewer is busy lambasting the white van driver, he fails to do the same thing with this next gap he wishes to take. He doesn't speed up. He should already be accelerating, and quite hard at this point, to keep up with the white van. And because he doesn't, the lorry driver behind is now going to close his space down.
Indicator on me. The Romans began to chant.
Look at the space that's grown between our camera and the white van in front, and it's only now as he starts to wring his engine out again that the car starts to build speed and gain away from the lorry.
Mercy, mercy. Ignored him. Before we knew it, we were raising him on a shield. The cry changed to.
I also think the driver of the blue lorry didn't help. He's only just catching the other lorry now. If he'd have just backed off the gas a little earlier or even cancelled his cruise control, he could have averaged a higher speed by being able to get on the gas sooner. Instead, he closed the space down, got on his horn and started waving his hands. Poor from both parties, I think, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. Unfortunately, we do see this quite often though. How do you deal with these scenarios? This clip was taken just north of Manchester, where the M60, 62 and 66 all join. And as usual, it's a multi-lane roundabout causing problems for people. The vehicle that we're watching is the four-wheel drive towing the trailer. I'll let you have a watch in full and then we'll go back over it in a moment.
Tweeting Trump is a magic man. I think it's totally normal, yeah. As the results came in, the divisions in the states played out in the victory speeches. Here's Kirsten Gillibrand, the Democrat senator for New York.
We recognize that we are all brothers and sisters in our struggle for equality and justice. And I know that we should show the world.
And that was it. First thing I'd like to say though is well done to my viewer who's driving his lorry to make this a non-event. Perfect. But now let's go and delve and see what either party could have maybe done differently. Here's the junction seen from Google Maps, and I'd like to point something out that we actually can't see at the start of the video. Some road markings on the floor clearly show that you can approach and join the M66 from both of the lanes featured in the video. And this is key to what the farmer towing the trailer should be doing.
Take the third exit, M66, towards Blackburn.
So we've just heard my camera's sat-nav telling him he's following for the M66, and this right lane where the farmer is can only go to the M66, and he should know that there's another lane to the left of him which can also go to the M66. Quite simply, the four-wheel drive towing the trailer should stay in the furthest right lane. I will say though that the layout of this particular roundabout is quite strange. For example, our camera approached from the left lane, but now he's in lane 3. That is quite unusual, so if you're in a situation like this, expect people to make mistakes. And this is the only thing that I think my viewer could probably have done a little differently. Let me explain. As you're accelerating away on these roundabouts and just in general, try and adjust your acceleration to just be on the back shoulder of the vehicle to your right. And as you can see, my viewer is a little touch further forward than that. But he still is aware enough and good enough to sort it and fix it. But if it had just kept a little further back with his acceleration,
Unbelievable!
that can reduce risk massively. In this clip, my viewer saves himself from a collision by his good anticipation and good riding. Already we've seen him gearing down and slowing down because he's got the junction coming up, and he even lets this pedestrian across because he's got to deal with the van opposite. As we arrive at the junction, you can actually see the vehicle that's behind the van because you can see that there's a shadow there. This is the critical point in the clip. The cyclist is going ahead and the black car is crossing the cyclist path, so the black car should give way to the cyclist. But for cyclists to understand the deficiencies in motorists' observations at junctions is really important. This would have been what the black car would have seen when the van emerged. After looking right, the motorist will look left. But because they're looking for vehicles, they won't pay much attention to ahead for the cyclist. They'll then look right again. Again, not seeing the cyclist. This shouldn't happen, but it does. And if you're a cyclist, if you don't know this, you need to put it into your ride. Else you'll end up being bonneted. I do feel sorry for the motorcyclist in my last clip. He is partially at fault. He accelerates away too fast into risk. And although the car shouldn't have pulled out, he couldn't stop comfortably. It's just nice to see though that the car that did pull out is stopping to make sure he's okay. I wonder how this went with the insurance. Is that silver car liable whatsoever? Let me know what you think in the comments. Keep safe everyone. I'll see you soon.